We had just lost her son.
Valerie went through the heartbreaking experience of delivering her son, who was stillborn.
Life just seemed really heavy.
After a postpartum doctor's appointment, Valerie's life changed again.
Leaving my doctor's appointment, I got into a car accident.
The car accident left Valerie with severe neck pain. Thankfully, she is a radiology nurse, so getting scans wasn't difficult.
I know that I'm so fortunate and blessed to be in that position. Like, I know it's not for every patient. You are advocating to the ends of the earth just for someone to scan you or take you seriously. And after I did that CT scan, I went to the radiologist and was like, hey, like, do you have time to just look at it really quick? Like, see if I have any like fractures or whiplash or whatever. And I just remember immediately pulled up my scan and said that my thyroid did not look good.
Valerie had been experiencing strange symptoms even before the crash.
I just remember like I was bruising so much. It was so random. I would like wake up with so many bruises. I did go to my doctor because I had been experiencing weight loss. I just like had these 10 pounds that I could not for the life of me gain back. And then the bruising and extreme cold intolerance. Like I would be wearing 4 layers. I could not control my body temperature.
Valerie had leukemia as a child. Her first thought, did it come back?
I kind of just went back into that mindset of like, oh my gosh, like, is this leukemia?
But the leukemia hadn't come back. This time it was something entirely different.
I was at work that day too, and that same radiologist that looked at my scan initially and did the biopsy, he just found me in the middle of the hallway and was like, hey, when you have a moment, like I need you to come in my office. I went into his office and he had my scans up. He had the pathologist on the phone. And he said, Val, I think you should call your husband. And I was like, no, just like tell me. Like I don't, like what's happening, like just tell me what's going on. The radiologist was like, it did come back positive. You have like a score, you almost have like a scoring level on how malignant or dangerous it can be. And mine was like the most malignant possibility where it came back positive.
It was thyroid cancer.
He was like, people can live with papillary carcinoma for years before it becomes a problem. But with this mutation that you have, it just has a potential to spread and metastasize to your lymph nodes. And I was like, okay, so like, do I need to get it removed? And he was like, yeah, I wouldn't wait any longer than a month to get this removed. I called my husband and I was like, babe, I have thyroid cancer. I think at the time, life just seemed really heavy because we had just lost our son. My husband wasn't with me. He was working out of state. And then you just hear the C word. No matter what kind of cancer, I know that thyroid cancer is considered a good kind of cancer, but there's no good kind of cancer. And just to like make that call to my husband, I was like, honey, I have cancer, thyroid cancer. And they said that I shouldn't wait longer than a month to get it out. And I remember he flew home immediately.
Initially, doctors planned to remove only half of Valerie's thyroid, but just before surgery, they discovered the cancer had spread to both sides.
I still remember he was like, I'm very reassured, we're going to get it out, like, but you will have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Like, that's so fun. Anyone would say that they don't want to be on medication for the rest of their life. Like, I wasn't looking forward to that. But surgery went great. Like, surgery went perfect, apparently.
I just have an incision site where they took my thyroid out, but I am hopefully cancer-free.
My margins looked good. It was a very successful surgery. I healed well. And from there, he referred me to my first endocrinologist.
Meeting with her first endocrinologist, Valerie got the news she was hoping for.
And I said, wait, like, are you are you saying though, if it's like undetectable, like, are you saying the cancer is gone? And she's like, yeah, Val, like, you're cancer free. And I was just like, really? Like, I just was like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. I was just so like ecstatic. I just was like, this is amazing. This is kind of the end of it, even though like it was annoying to deal with. Like, it's a short cancer journey. Like, I can handle this kind of thing.
But unfortunately, this wasn't the end of Valerie's fight with thyroid cancer. By this time, Valerie's endocrinologist had moved away, but when she was assigned a new doctor, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
I went to this appointment alone without thinking anything of it, because we had such a successful surgery, such a successful like post-surgery blood work. And I just remember sitting on that table, and he had the probe like so hard, like he just was pressing so hard it felt. And he just said, "This is not good." I just remember he looked over at his medical assistant and said, "I need you to go and grab me a fine needle aspiration kit, and we need to do a biopsy." And I was like, hold on. Like, I don't know what I was. I think because I had already just like celebrated and accepted it and like was ready to move on, that for a second I was like, no, like, what do you mean you're about to stick me with a needle again? Like, can you explain to me what's going on? And he finally looked at me and was like, you have lymph node, like suspicious lymph nodes. He's like, I need to check to make sure your cancer has not spread. And I said, no, I don't have cancer. Like, I was told that I don't have it. Like, I don't have it anymore. And he was like, it is totally up to you if you want to do this or not. He's like, but I'm just telling you, like, you have a really big one. And it was right up against my vocal nerve. And he goes, and that one, like, if anything, let me just biopsy that one. He's like, that's probably why you feel such pressure right there. And I was like, okay. And I let him do his thing. I felt so uneasy about it all. I think it was just like whiplash, truly. Like, I was like, why are we doing this again?
Valerie would soon find out the devastating reality.
I was getting false negatives for my thyroid globulin. It happened twice. These biopsies, he ended up doing like 3 biopsies because I was like, well, you're already sticking my neck. They all came back for papillary carcinoma. And I was just like, okay, so like what I need to do? And he was like, you need to get these taken out. You need a neck dissection. Like, you need a lymph node removal. And I remember calling my initial surgeon after he had read the CT scan. And he was like, Val, I can't even touch you. He was like, where those lymph nodes are located, I had a handful of them in my chest. So like chest area is like a total different surgeon. And I had a couple sitting right on my vocal nerve, on my carotid artery, and on my aortic arch. And he was like, I can't even, like, I won't even touch you. Like, he's like, he's like, honestly, like, I don't even think anyone will touch you with how risky this surgery is. And I was like, I just remember feeling like, why? Like, how did you not like catch this? I think I remember the first emotion I felt was honestly anger.
Her first surgeon recommended someone else, Jason Diaz, a skilled surgeon who had studied at the Huntsman Cancer Institute in Salt Lake City, Utah. Even with his experience, the surgery was risky.
He was like, Val, the chances of you ever talking again are probably slim to none. Because if I go and take out those lymph nodes around your vocal nerves, like, it's going to wreck your vocal nerve. And he was like, also, like, I think this was like the scary part is he was like, he's like, I'm still debating whether I want to touch the ones that are around. They were like millimeters away from my carotid and my aortic arch. The risks of you not making it out of surgery are way higher. And he's like, that risk is like too much that I want to take on. I think what kept on coming through my mind was everyone says it's an easy cancer, yet I'm sitting in this room like, what, potentially it's going to turn into something else, or like potentially not, like lose my voice, and potentially like not even make it out. And I know that there's risks with every surgery, but it it was a little bit more scarier than, just let's take your thyroid out and you're good. Here's some thyroxine. Have a great life. Um, and when I did my surgery, I it it went better than expected. He actually was very successful in getting all of them, even the ones in my chest.
After a successful surgery, Valerie did radioactive iodine therapy to get rid of any other remaining thyroid cells or cancer. It was all worth it for this moment.
I just got out of a workout class. I was so sweaty, just like the worst looking possible situation. And I looked down at my phone and I got that email and I read it, and it said that it was like no indication that the cancer had moved and no indication of active cancer in lymph nodes. And the flowers will bloom and the sky will be blue. And I read it to my husband. My husband was like, oh my gosh, like, does that mean that it worked? Like, does that mean that your cancer's gone? Thyroid cancer, for the reoccurrence to happen, is fairly common just because you can't fully ever get rid of every bit of thyroid tissue in your body. She was like, as of now, you are cancer free. And she's like, but we're going to check it every 3 months.
Because Valerie did radioactive iodine therapy, she can't get pregnant for at least a year, giving her and her husband space to heal even more.
We have been struggling with infertility just because of my history with leukemia. And losing our son, there was times where earlier this year where I physically was not able to get out of bed. And then really not even process like his loss, because it was 2 weeks. Like, we went from like, okay, this heartbreaking news, to now I'm almost fighting for my life kind of thing. And my husband is just like, I need to protect my family. Like, I need to support my wife. And we were just having this conversation pretty recently in the last couple days, where he's like, we have to wait a year to even think about if we want to have any more kids or try again. He's like, but let's use this year to like honor him and think about just how beautiful life really is. Just miss him. And really just find different ways to honor him. I think we're just excited to use this next year to just like learn how to breathe again and learn our new normal, with just still having to get scans every 3 months and blood work every 3 months.
Navigating survivorship while grieving hasn't been easy for Valerie.
I can very much get stuck in that mindset of like, poor me, like, why did this happen to me? It's so annoying. Like, what is up with life? But I just do want to acknowledge like the tiniest shift, and it changes day by day. It's almost like a grief. Like, there's stages of grief, and it changes day by day. Like, I'm not saying I don't have hard days, because your thyroid regulates your emotions a lot. And when you're on this medication, like, sometimes you just really can't take yourself out of maybe a little sad moment for yourself. But like, I have really tried to focus on like the small wins, anything small, like even to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, the sky's blue today. Like, it, just gratitude. Everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. Trials are a gift. Heartache is a gift. Joy is a gift. You just have to continuously choose to see like the lighter days, and like really process and take every emotion as it is, because with a lot of heartache, and there's a lot of joy and love.
If this video was meaningful for you, we've queued up another video here a playlist here, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you for being a part of the Patient Story community. You're not alone.